The federal government believes it stopped this meth ring. Right now, it's flooded with cotton. I'm talking about these beautiful white cotton bolls. They look a little bit like snowballs, but to local farmers, they look a lot like money.
Believe it or not, this is actually a privilege.
Each one of these yellow letters from Medicare requires that Dr. Walcott produce this much paperwork. Hundreds of guns for sale here at Sharpshooters, but only one of them comes in a box marked for sale to Texans only. Talking about that ice storm that we got, if you look up at these branches, 2 weeks ago, these were covered in ice. Packages sort of like this. Each pill in this package contains about 30 milligrams of pseudoephedrine. If you treat them right, they're one of the best pets to have. We're on the north side, just inside the loop, and you can actually still see the police markings as the collision happened somewhere in this area. As you can see, the registers are full behind me. There's plenty of people trying to buy things. If you follow me over here, the line begins over here. It zigzags around and eventually makes its way all the way back out there. There are tons of folks here. Residents in the area are furious. They say this is not the first time it's happened, and they want something done about it. I'm locked up, Lubbock.
The big story tonight, economic hardship forces a Lorenzo man to live in a shack. But soon, even that shack may be gone. KLBK's Mitch Carr has more from Lorenzo.
This is where Angel Aleman lives. It's basically a plywood shack with 4 walls, a roof, and a dirt floor. The city of Lorenzo says it's unsafe, but Angel Aleman says it's all he's got.
They showed me to the door, and I don't even have a door up yet.
Angel Aleman bought this property at 4th and Polk in Lorenzo in December 2008. Gainfully employed and needing a place of his own, Aleman paid cash up front for the property. But shortly after the purchase, his employer laid him off.
I started getting shoot out of all kinds of places. Anywhere I stepped, I would be trespassing. So, I had to find a place of my own where I could, at least hang out without getting in trouble.
With no money to begin building a house, Aleman improvised. He put down some cinder blocks, slapped up some plywood, pitched a tent on the dirt floor, and called it a home.
The first time we get a strong wind, it's gone because it's not tied to the ground anywhere. It's just sitting there.
Jim Lively is the city administrator in Lorenzo. He says the city is sensitive to Aleman's troubles, but his house is a safety issue. With no foundation, no sanitation in the way of water and sewer lines, and no heat, Aleman is at risk.
And he was notified early on what he had to do to build it and build it right. And he has chosen not to follow those guidelines.
For Aleman, the risk is all too real, but it is not a matter of choice.
Houses aren't cheap, first of all, and all the stuff that go in it. So, that's how I got here, and that's the position I'm in right now.
Aleman spends his days at the library, reading and enjoying the heat and the restroom facilities. He wants to get a job, but Lorenzo does not have any, and he says it's tough to get to Lubbock and get one there with no transportation but his bike.
I'd have $20 to put in for gas and, run into like 3 interviews or something, and it eats up all the gas. And then if you don't get a job, you're stuck back at zero again.
But Aleman will not give up. He owns property. He has a house. It's his own version of the American dream. And that's something he's not willing to let go of.
It's something to live for, I'll tell you that much.
Aleman has until March to get this place up to code. If he's unable to do so, the city will tear it down. In Lorenzo, Mitch Carr, KLBK News.
Having a baby can be both wonderful and extremely scary for a woman. Even if an expectant mother does everything right, a newborn can still have problems. KLBK's Mitch Carr is with us now to talk about one mother who had some complications, but now there's, some help that she's getting to deal with those.
Terry, I was talking to our assignment editor before we went on, and he said that when his baby boy was born, he was so excited, but the first thing he did was count all the fingers and all the toes on his new baby boy to make sure that everything was the way it should be. It's something most parents can relate to, and thankfully most babies come out completely healthy. But one local mom was not so fortunate. Her son was born with multiple birth defects that threatened his life from the minute he took his first breath. But thanks to a new and rare piece of technology, the little guy is alive and kicking. 10-month-old Cain Rodriguez doesn't know this, but the machine on his chest that's making him cry is also saving his life. Cain was born with a condition called prune belly syndrome. It's a series of birth defects that have left his lungs almost too weak for him to breathe on his own. Cain's situation was so dire at birth that doctors only gave him 72 hours to live.
Thought he was going to die every time I went. They told me that there was no possible way he would survive.
Cain's mother, Monica, has spent countless hours at University Medical Center watching over her little miracle. She's thankful he's alive.
He's gone a long way. We've lost him almost 3 times already.
Monica owes a lot of her thank yous to the machine vibrating on Kane's chest. It's called a biphasic cuirass ventilation machine. It works like a vacuum, applying pressure to make Kane's chest rise and fall because he lacks enough strength to do so on his own.
He's had pneumonia, RSV. He's almost passed away until we found out about this machine, which has helped him a lot.
Kane Rodriguez is the first patient in the entire state of Texas to use this machine. In fact, there are only 3 in use in this entire country. His doctor says Kane likely could not survive without the ventilation machine. So Kane enjoys his pacifier, while his mother knows just how lucky he is to be alive. And Kane has multiple surgeries scheduled in the near future. His doctors at UMC say that with those surgeries and with some more natural development of his lungs, he may one day be able to survive without this machine.
Truly a miracle.